The Scream by Edvard Munch. Intro. Few paintings in the history of Western art have embedded themselves so deeply into popular culture as The Scream by Edvard Munch. It has become a universal symbol, an image that speaks to something raw, primal, and utterly human. But behind this iconic image lies a far more complex story, one of personal torment, psychological depth, and visionary artistic genius. Today, we're going to look closely at this masterpiece, who made it, why, and what it continues to mean more than a century later. Munch's life. Edvard Munch was born in 1863 in Norway, and from his earliest years, he was no stranger to suffering. His mother died of tuberculosis when he was just 5 years old. His sister Sophie died of the same disease when Edvard was 14. Another sister spent most of her life in a psychiatric institution. His father was deeply religious and prone to bouts of severe depression. Death, illness, and anxiety were not abstract concepts for Munch. They were the furniture of his daily life. He once wrote, "Illness, insanity, and death were the black angels that kept watch over my cradle." These experiences didn't destroy him, they became the raw material of his art. Munch studied in Christiania, which is modern-day Oslo, and later traveled to Paris and Berlin, where he was exposed to post-impressionism and symbolism. But he never simply followed a movement. He forged his own path, one rooted in emotional and psychological truth, rather than surface beauty. The painting itself. The Scream was created in 1893, and it exists in multiple versions, 2 paintings and 2 pastels. The most famous version, the one we're looking at, is painted in oil, tempera, and pastel on cardboard. It now resides in the National Museum in Oslo. The composition is immediately striking. In the foreground stands a figure, genderless, boneless almost, with a skull-like face, hollow eyes, and a wide-open mouth in an expression of pure, speechless horror. The hands are pressed against the sides of the head. The body seems to dissolve, to melt into the landscape around it. Behind this central figure, 2 dark silhouettes walk calmly along a bridge or boardwalk, seemingly oblivious to the anguish in front of them. This contrast, the tormented individual against the indifferent crowd, feels profoundly modern. And then there is the sky. It is perhaps the most extraordinary part of the painting. Munch fills it with burning waves of red, orange, yellow, and blue, swirling, churning, pulsating. It does not look like a natural sky. It looks like the sky as seen through the eyes of panic. The landscape itself, likely the Oslofjord, seen from Ekeberg Hill, curves and twists in sympathy with the central figure. There is no stable horizon, no ground that doesn't seem to move. The world is not a safe place in this painting. Everything vibrates with dread. Munch's own words. Munch left us a diary entry that explains the moment that inspired the work. He described walking with friends at sunset when he suddenly felt exhausted and stopped to rest. He wrote that he sensed an infinite scream passing through nature, and that the clouds turned blood red. He felt the sky itself was screaming. This is a crucial detail. The title of the painting is not "The Man Screaming." It is "The Scream." The figure in the foreground may not be screaming at all. He may be reacting to the scream he hears all around him, in the sky, in the air, in existence itself. This transforms the painting from a portrait of individual breakdown into something far larger, an expression of existential terror that belongs to all of us. Legacy and meaning. The Scream arrived at the exact moment that the modern world needed it. The late 19th century was an era of rapid industrialization, urban anxiety, and the collapse of old certainties. Munch gave visual form to feelings that words could barely capture. In the 20th century, the image became a shorthand for anxiety itself. Referenced in cartoons, horror films, advertising, and now endlessly in internet culture. It has been stolen from museums twice and thankfully recovered both times, which speaks to how potently people feel its power. What makes the Scream timeless is precisely its ambiguity and its honesty. Munch did not paint the world as it is. He painted the world as it feels in our darkest moments. And in doing so, he created something that speaks across every generation, every culture, every private crisis. Outro. If you look at the Scream and feel something, unease, recognition, even relief, that is Munch's greatest achievement. He took his own suffering and made it universal. In a world that often asks us to keep our anxiety quiet, he let it fill the sky. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the art that shaped our world.